All right, family. Hello, everybody. Just trying to give a couple people a minute to come in. I hope we're doing amazing today. I hope we're doing good and being safe. Trying to let a couple more people come in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's have a great discussion today. Let's talk about some things that's going on in our community. This song is not something that I own. It is from this video, Hebrews to Negroes. So I just wanted to show you guys that. That song that I was playing was from a video, a show by Ron Dalton, a movie called Hebrews to Negroes. And it's a very great documentary about our history. And I think you guys would enjoy it. I hope you guys would tune in to Vimeo. It's on Vimeo and it's like $10.99. Okay. But it's our history. And it's really great. And it's by Ron Dalton. And I think it's a three series. You know, it's a series, and it's really interesting. Okay, so if you're confused about who you are, if you're confused about why you're here, if you're confused about um, your future or your culture, heritage, that movie will be an amazing movie for you to see. Um, let's talk about today's topic, and today's topic is the dangers of white teachers educating our Black children. The dangers of our white teachers educating our Black children. How has that affected our children? Let's look at that. And we're going to do a stream of videos as far as looking at our culture from then and now to see um, the dangers or how we succeeded or how we have come ahead or if we've come ahead. How has us integrating with our enemies? How has that been for us? This is what my programs are all about, my videos, and that's my gift. Everybody, I believe, has their own part to do, their own gift, their own part of us coming back together. Everybody has their own job to do. And I hope and I pray everybody would get on board and do what you were created and put on this earth to do. And that is to right now to wake up Black folk, to wake us up and to get into your position, so that the people that Yah has allowed, has put on your plate to fulfill, or your plate to go and capture, or your plate, that you would do your part. And I'm seeing a lot of times when people step out to do their gifts, we get attacked, okay, by different individuals who are afraid of waking up, who are afraid of moving forward, who are afraid of something different. Even though what they're doing now is not working, they're afraid of change. They're afraid of stepping out. Just like you had some Negroes back in, when slavery, they were free, and some stayed and they didn't move. They stayed right there and worked, with massa. They didn't change anything. They didn't want to change anything. They were too afraid to change anything, and they literally stayed on the plantation and died there. Then you had some that did step out and they did something different, and some succeeded and some didn't. But you did have some that did at least stepped out to try something different, to do something different. But a lot of times we don't even want to try because of fear. And I think this is what's going on right now with us. It's all about fear. You have a brother, Jay Fitzgerald, who's over the NFAC, and bring him up all the time because he is doing what he was put on this earth to do. I do believe that. A lot of Black folk are coming against him. White people don't even have to come against him. Black folk coming against his brother, which makes no sense to me. If you are in fact Black and you want to be free, jump on board. Or if you don't want to jump on that train, create your own train and we'll ride your train. The ones that were picked to ride your train will ride your train, and the ones that were not, that has other trains, then you wait on the next train and you do that train, but at least do a train. Okay, don't just sit there and not do anything. I hope the video is good, you guys. I'm gonna look it up as I'm speaking to you guys to see if we're on target here. I'm hoping that I'm not draggy, or I hope they're not messing with my video. I'm trying not to say things that'll be like trigger words for YouTube. So I'm gonna look it up to see if we're on target. But I just want, I am here just to get us to start thinking about what it is that we're supposed to be doing in the midst of all of this trauma and pain that looking at right now. What is your job? What are you supposed to be doing? I know mine is to wake up Black folk, to bring attention to what's going on now. Um, Hold on, you guys. Because I think everybody, like I said before, everybody has their job, and I think we should be doing them. And a lot of people are so busy trying to do other people's that they're not doing their own, which is sad. Okay, so I'm gonna see if we're live here. Hold on. Okay, so far we're good. Um, let's I think it's very hard for us to allow our enemies to educate us and educate our children. We have stepped into something that was the worst thing ever. The worst thing we could have done was to allow our enemies to educate our children. That was the absolute worst mistake ever. I often look at if we could have done it separate, keep the Black folk here and keep the white folk here, and do a separate government, a separate entity. And we had people, Black folk, that were over us, that had a heart after us, that could speak for us, and that could pretty much get things done for us instead of us coming together. Mixing and mingling never was something that we were supposed to do. And Deuteronomy 7 talks about that. Mixing and mingling, he said in the word, evil communication corrupt good manners. And I think that's what we're seeing now. We have come together with our open enemy, something we never should have done, but we did it anyway because of disobedience, because of lack of knowledge or understanding. We left our stuff to go to them to be up under their stuff, which made no sense to me. But I think that was the punishment started all over again, because from slavery we got free, and then after slavery we came from under them. We had our own cities. We had Black Wall Street. We had a lot of Black cities. And what we began to see was the Black riots, the 1919 St. Louis riots, Rosewood, Greenville, Black Wall. We've seen a lot of New York riots, St. Louis riots, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to do a series on how has this being together, integrating with our enemies, how has it affected us now? We're going to do a series on that. And we're going to talk a lot about that, and we're going to dig deep into some things that, and we're going to look deep into this stuff, because I don't see how it has helped us at all to integrate with our enemies. It's now if you see how it's integrated, then I'm gonna leave a link. I'm gonna put a link in here, and you guys can tell me how, or I'm gonna copy a link, because I want you guys to show me how has it helped. If you're saying, "Oh, Cassie, it was a great thing for us to come together with our open enemies," I want you to come on here and tell me how, and then maybe, because maybe I'm seeing it wrong, or maybe I'm not seeing it correctly. So I did put a link in here. So if anybody want to come on, hop on, then you can tell me that I'm wrong, and I'm good. If you tell me I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But I'm gonna tell you what I've seen over the since 1963, and how we've not gone or gotten anything, and how we are still fighting for the same stuff that Martin Luther King was fighting for in the 60s. We're still fighting for justice, equality, police brutality, education, housing. We're still fighting for that stuff today. So you tell me that us giving up our Black cities was a great idea. Us giving up our own schools was a great idea. Us giving up our own Black banks, and we're going to talk about 19 banks, Black banks, that we could actually start banking with now. It's some things that we could do to help ourselves. But if we keep complaining, which I'm seeing a lot of complaints, and every time I suggest us doing something different, honey, every time I see I hear a suggestion about us wanting to do something different, I'll hear one clown that'll say, "Well, you know how they used to, we had this before and they burned it down or they killed us." Even when I saw the 19 family members that came together to buy their own city, I saw some clowns in there saying, "Oh, we did this before. It's nothing new under the sun and they're going to destroy this too." But they was so negative. And I'm like, do you want to stay in captivity or do you want to be free? Do you want to do something? It takes baby steps sometimes. Okay. It took us 60 years to get here. It took more than that, but I'm just saying because we had a chance to be free. But what did we do? We decided to go back under up under our enemies after slavery, and we got back under them, thinking, "Oh, we're gonna get in school with them, and we're gonna have separate everything." But guess what? When we moved into their neighborhoods, what happened? They moved out. This called white flight. Look it up. It when one or two of us will move into their neighborhoods, they will be gone. Right? Okay. So did we really integrate? Even now, we try to integrate with their schools. We try to go to their restaurants, and ain't no telling what's in our food now. I'm just saying, even back in the day when we sat at the Woolworths and when we sat at their different restaurants and we forced them to feed us, we forced them to take our money, we forced them to come together with us. They didn't want to come together with us. We forced them to come together with us. Can you imagine what they put in your food? I'm just saying, can you imagine? They didn't weren't treating us right, and then we allowed them to teach our children. Only fools, Malcolm X said, only fools would allow their open enemies to educate their children. And that's what we are. And that's what we have been, fools. Because we are allowing our open enemies to educate our children, which is the worst thing we could be doing. But we're not doing anything about it. And now this is called a reset. Yeah, it's resetting everything right now. And instead of us getting our own schools, either online or homeschooling, or instead of us doing something different, we're waiting to go back to these jobs. We're waiting to put our children back up under our enemy. We're waiting, but yeah, it's not allowing us to put our babies back under them because COVID is coming again. Okay. And it's almost like, when are we going to get it? This is not what we should be doing. We should have our own schools. We should have our own clinics. We should have our own hospitals. Just like those 19 family members are creating their own reality. We could create our own reality. And we can do it in group economics also. You get like-minded people, and you can use that same realtor that could probably find you something in Georgia, or find you something in another spot, or find you something somewhere else. Or she will probably know a realtor in another city. If you don't want to do Georgia, she could probably find you another city that she could, find you some nice cheap land, or affordable land where you can put your city. Okay, I believe in group economics. I don't believe that we can do this by ourselves. I believe that everybody has their job to do, and if everybody's doing their part, we will build slowly but surely, but it'll get built. And at least we will start somewhere. Right now, we're not even willing to start. You see that they're killing, you see that they're murdering, you see that these police officers off the chain. We have to do something, and we're not doing anything. We're hoping and praying that they'll stop, and they're not. They're getting worse. So my thing is, when are we going to build a defense? And FAC talked about a defense. He is actually trying to do a defense nationwide. And what are we doing? We complain and we talking about our own brother. We come against our own when our own is trying to do something for us. We will jump on the bandwagon with white folk and talk about our own. Are we crazy, or what is wrong with black folks? Stop it. Stop with all that nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That's not healthy. We don't have to do that. We don't have to act like that. It is time for us to recognize when we're acting dysfunction and deal with our dysfunctional behaviors. And it is time for us to come together as a family, as one, and do something for us. I don't see any other culture running the vote but black folk. And we actually believe a white supremacist system that we're up under is going to help black folk. Or this white supremacy system has never helped black folk. It has never wanted to help black folk. It has never done anything for you. And it's not going to start because you got a black or wannabe black woman, or Biden picked a boule, of one that looks like us, but not us. Somebody that looked like us. He picked a woman that looked like us, but's not part of us, as a front to fool you, because she's white supremacy too. Okay, look at her track record. And people get on my nerves. We are creating our own demise. We are helping them to demise to with for our demise. We are helping them to kill us. We are helping them. We are helping them, and we don't even know it. Because I heard one guy say, "I don't care if Biden did this, that, and the other. He could rape my children, slap my mama. I'm gonna still vote for him." And I believe that. That's sad for him to say, and I want to tell him, "You are such a fool. You are a man with no wisdom. You rather vote for the devil or Satan. My thing is, why do we always have to choose? Why can't we have our own? Why do we have to take who they give us? They appointed these creeps. They appointed this dysfunctional. They appointed these racist devils and want us to support them. No, I will not. We need to get our own political parties. We need to have our own political. We need to have our own cities, and we have our own mayors and our own education system, our own police department. We police ourselves. We educate our own babies. We need to have start from scratch, but at least we start somewhere. Like just like this city is wanting to do something, I do believe that we should be supporting them. And I didn't get the this initiative. We're gonna have that. I'm gonna maybe try to put it in comments, but they have a cash app where we can support them. And look up 19 families, and you'll see their webpage. And I think it's the initiative for Georgia initiatives or something. The initiative for Georgia. So it's called something. I can't really remember. Um, Dang on. I said I was gonna look it up before, and I still didn't because I was trying to do so much other stuff. But I know they have a web page for you to look up. Black. Um, oh shoot, no, hold on. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I still don't have it. Hold on, let me see. I got so many notes here. Let me see that I write it down. I'm telling you, I can't remember, but we have to. Let me just stay on target here. Um, we have to understand that our children learn different, and these teachers, these white teachers, have a colonial mindset, and they want to have that mindset where we coming in to save the niggas. No, we don't need you to save us. We don't need you to save us. We can save ourselves, but we don't try to save ourselves. That's why they think they always have to, because we don't try to save us. Okay. I know that, sometimes we talk about topics and people aren't ready to deal with racism. People aren't ready to deal with being separate. People aren't ready to do something different. People aren't ready to be separate and equal. People are not ready. They want to keep on continuing to be integrated with your enemy, to keep on trying to please our enemy, keep on trying to build with our enemies. But you have enemies that don't want to build with you. We're the only one out there holding hand. We are the world. We are we're the only one doing that. Nobody else is doing that but us. And we look around and we see one or two white people, and then we'll say, "Oh, they're for us." And you have thousands, millions of white people that aren't out there that's not for you, and tell you every day how they hate you. Tell you every day they're glad you died, just like those police officers got shot. Those black folk walked up to the hospital and told and was saying, "What? We hope you die." That's so sad because they don't even understand that we are so divided in this country. That's so sad because they're not even looking at why those cops got shot. They're not looking at the reason why the uprise. And I'm going to do a show on that next Tuesday. Why are we really up? Why is all of this happening? We are going to dig deep, and we are going to continuously talk about racist America, talk about this racist country that refuses to deal with black people, refuses to deal with the racism issue, refuses to deal with our issues. And then you want my vote? You want me to vote for you? And you aren't promising me anything? You're not promising that you're going to stop police brutality, because you keep telling me Joe and Trump keep saying, nope, I'm not going to defend the police. No, I'm not going to dismantle. So my thing is, you're refusing to do anything for black issues. You see this happening, but you don't care. You're like, I don't care if they kill them all. But my thing is, we care. So guess what? We're not going to vote for you. We should have a candidate up there that we can vote for. And if possible, we need two separate candidates. We need a white candidate for them that's going to do what they need them to do. And we need one for ourselves. And I'm just saying, I do believe that that can happen. I do believe that we can vote locally and get some people in office that's going to have our hearts, because integrating for me with them, it has not done any good for us. We came from slavery, got from under them, then we turned around and got back under them because they saw how great we were doing with Black Wall Street. They saw that Black people can actually do for themselves without white people. Grand Risings, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have to understand that how they saw that we were doing things without them. They saw how great we was running cities, we was running towns. We had our own schools, our own hospitals, our own cab companies, our own bus. We had our own banks. We had everything that they had. But the only thing it might wasn't up to the best quality. But guess what? If we had kept putting money into our own, we could have kept. Yes, but I know this is you. I know. How are you doing today? I didn't know you were from. I didn't know where you were from though. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But thank you for tuning in. But we have to understand that they saw how great we were doing and how we could run our own cities, we could create our own businesses and create our own without them. And they would literally get mad because they would see our cities that was flourishing and growing. And they would look at us and go, well, how in the world are them niggas doing it? And we over here working hard and got the best of everything. And we can't, our cities don't look half as good as them. Because guess what? We're the blessed people. We are the chosen, and God gave us the vision, and God put different gifts in us so that we can do make civilization better. Because we remember we taught them, we built this country. So of course we built this country for them. We can build our own for us. But I do believe that we need our own security, our own police departments. But we're gonna talk about that because we're gonna talk about on Thursday about the 19 families that did build a city and what is it going to take for us to build our own. Okay. I'm just I just want us to see the difference in us coming together with our enemy and us if we had stayed separate, where would we have been? Where would we be today, you guys, if we had stayed separate from our enemies? That question, answer that question. Where would we be today if we had stayed separate from our open enemies and done it ourselves? Instead of thinking we needed them, who never had your back, who showed you they didn't like you, and then you want to force them to eat their food? Are you crazy? I can't even think about what was in that food. Just the thought of me thinking about what was in that food that we were forcing them to fix for us, it disgusts me. It just makes my stomach. Ugh, I'm just saying. Mm. Ooh. Their history with us, with Black folk, was nothing good. It's never been good. So why is it that we still why are we still trying to mix and mingle with them? Why is it that we still want to marry their children? Why is it that we still want to have a relationship with people that don't like you? They show you, they tell you, they call you names. And then I'll have people say, well, all white folk aren't bad. I from the history that I see, the history that I've seen, the history that I've experienced has shown me that all of them are disgusting. All of them are dysfunctional. All of them are bad. All of them. All of them. I don't care. You may show your teeth, but make them mad. And guess what? As long as they can use you, they're good. But when they can't use you anymore, what happens? You see, they start calling you names. Start calling out your differences. They start trying to make you feel bad. They start trying to validate you. But people, until we understand that you cannot be friends with your enemy, and this is the problem, we are failing to realize that we cannot be. I'm looking for me a pen. We cannot be friends with our enemies, and this is the problem. We are not recognizing that they are your enemies because for so many years they have shown you their teeth, and they've smiled at you and they've, hi, how are you? But guess what? We can do that too. But we don't mean we like them. I smile every day at work. Don't mean I like any of them because I don't trust any of them. And I literally told the girl, she asked me one question one day, is there any white person that you trust? And I said, no. And she looked so disappointed. And I'm like, why are you looking disappointed? Look at your history. Look at our history. Look at the history together. Okay. Oh my God, yes, they are. But we're gonna do a show on that. I want you to come on here and give me some information. We are going to do a show next Thursday. It's Thursday actually on the families and how these devils are freaking out. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I am so excited about this next show because we are going to show you how us owning anything, it bugs the hell out of them. Us doing anything for self, it really takes them into another level because they are so used to us being under them that they can't even fathom us having our own city. They can't even fathom us having our own companies. They can't even fathom us having our own and being totally separate from them. Because then, if we're separate from them, they'd be like, what are they doing over there? What are they doing? Are they coming against us? Are they building against us? We ain't even think about them devils. Okay. But they seem to be thinking about us because every move we make, Every move we make, them devils try to destroy, they try to come down, and I am hoping and praying that those 19 families have security and they are securing that land and they are coming up with their own police department. I do believe that they need their own defense, just like in the NFAC. Wanted to defend Black folk and help us to get out of the rut that we're in, and we came against him. So I still think he's doing it, but I think we've taken a little motivation out of him. I know he's still going, still trying to do something, but I mean, I'm telling you, y'all Black folks, something else to deal with. I don't know if I would be keep on doing anything for y'all little Negroes. Y'all just acting terrible. Um, we have to understand that the damage. I read something that a teacher had came up with, and I'm gonna try to pull it up. And the teacher was saying it was a letter to. Um, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the letter. As far as here it is, it's on my page. The type of the way that we learn, and a lot of these teachers are not being educated properly on how to teach our children. Okay, and this is a letter that was written by a white teacher, and he or she was trying. It's called Teaching While White. Okay, a letter to white teachers of my black. Oh, I guess it's a black mom. Okay, and she's trying to give advice on how to teach her black children. Okay. And it says, "Dear white teachers of my black children, I am a black mom. I know it's sometimes hard to decide whether to say black or African American. I used to identify as African American because I loved hearing the reference to my ancestral homeland in my description of myself. But then to say African American reduces the majestic continuant continent of African down to the statue of a country. Africa is not a country, and so I now identify as a Black woman. I identify here specifically as a Black mom because I have two children who are now in high school, raising them to be exquisite, informed adults with a strong sense of identity and agency is an essential part of my life. She talks about her being an educator also. She says, I am an educator, so I understand the deep importance of guiding and shaping all of our children. Okay. I'm also immediately, oh, I'm sorry, intimately, okay, aware. Okay. I know too that we have a long way to go before we're even close to treating all of our students equitably. Okay. This woman is really teaching, talking truth. I want you guys to listen to this letter. It's not a long letter, but I just want to help you to understand what's going on in our classrooms. Okay. She said, "This is why I'm writing to you today. I have much to say about what I wish you had been able to do for my children when they were in your elementary and middle school classrooms, and what I hope you will do for all children of color entering your classrooms." Okay, this is she's an educator, so she knows, okay, what's going on behind the scenes where some of our parents don't know. Okay, I think this is we had teachers like this to educate our children, but what do? We wanted to go to the white teachers. We thought that we were going to get a better education by being under white folk, and we still think that today. Even in Africa, they sending their children to Europe, they're sending them to Germany, they're sending them to these white folk trying to teach them, and I'm looking at them like, are you crazy? We need to start teaching our own children. Okay. Because I am an educator, I know well what you, or at least the vast majority of you, learned in your pre K through 12 education and in your teacher prep programs. I also know what you didn't learn. As you grew up, you most likely taught in schools and at home at at Abraham Lincoln was the great emancipator that that it was acceptable, right, even to refer to the people of the global majority as minorities, and that communities with higher percentages of black families are in need of saving. And what she's saying, the same thing I just said. They come with this colonial mindset and they think, oh, we're gonna save the black people. But guess what? They don't know your culture. They don't know how to deal with your culture. our cultures are totally different. We talk different. We get excited different. We can talk loud and they'll think we're yelling, but we're actually excited and we're passionate about what we're saying, and we don't want you to miss it. We don't want you to misunderstand what we're saying. So we act totally different, but you have to understand the trauma that we've gone through makes us act a certain way also. So if you're not if you're not informed on the traumas, if you've not experienced the traumas, then there is no way that you will actually understand what Black people go through. And it makes me really upset when white folk try to tell me about being Black. Well, this is not true, and it's everybody's white's not this, that, and the other, and you know, they try to tell us it's okay to, you know, it's not that serious, get over slavery and just stuff like that. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, until you walk in these Black shoes, you cannot tell me how it is or what it is or what I'm seeing or what I'm not seeing. I am in my Black shoes. I see what's going on. And because you're not in my shoes, you don't see what's going on because police aren't treating you afraid every day when you drive out of your driveway that you're gonna a police officer get behind you, that you're gonna die. One lady said, "Well, yeah, I'm afraid." I said, "You're afraid of a ticket, but you're not afraid to die." And she was like, "Hmm, yeah, okay." So they don't understand that we're having a difference interaction with the police officer. We're having different interactions with white racist teachers. So our children, we're dealing with racism every day on our jobs, and then you think you're sending your children to your enemy to treat them like crap, to to mentally rape them, to mentally abuse them, to mentally molest them. And then we look at our children and ask them, what's wrong with you? Why you act that way? Why you think that way? Because for 30 years, 60 years, they poured into our children their greatness and how nothing we are. They poured into our children how less than people, how disgusting we are, how nasty, how lazy, everything negative about Black folk, they poured into our children's mind. And then we look at them and wonder, why do you want to be white? Why do you look at them and why do we look up to them? Why do we look at them like they're so great? Because we have given our children over to them, and we've allowed our enemies to teach our children that they are gods and they are so great, and our children are nothing. And then we watch TV programs. I saw a movie the other day, and I'm telling you, it's called The Wave. And it made me so disgusting because I saw how these Black men in this movie was just crying like women. And it made me so disgusting. So we have to understand what's going on TV. They're still trying to downplay our men. They're trying to take the masculinity away from our men. And they try to make our men look as weak as they can. They try to make it just emasculate our men. It's disgusting because when I looked at the movie, I got so mad I couldn't even. I was just sitting up here and I was watching it with my daughter, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I could. The movie just made me just disgusted because I'm looking at what you're portraying, but you portraying these white men as this, that, and the other, and you portraying our men as fags, gay, and all this craziness and these weak, cried, pitiful men, and it just disgusts me. It just makes me so mad just to see the TV and just to see how they portraying our men. But I digress. I'm gonna keep staying focused. I didn't bring my water in here, so I can't drink my water to calm down. I'm not gonna be on here all day. I'm gonna just discuss this letter, and I hope you guys are thinking about some steps and ways and what we need to do in order to be free. We have to do something, and we have to start somewhere, family. So this teacher continues, as a teacher, you most likely did not receive outgoing professional development about race and education in America. You're likely to have a vague understanding about issues of diversity and equality. I'm sorry, equity. They have equity, but I'm thinking equality and inclusions with insufficient understandings of culturally responsive teaching and learning. On the other hand, you most likely received extensive training on implementation. Lord help me here. I'm getting my implementation of state and national education standards, new curriculums, initiatives, and how to improve standardized testing. In recent years, you might have received professional development about social emotional learning, but you'll have done so without exploring the critical social political considerations that are essential to strengthening your ability to teach well across race, class, and gender. Okay. She's telling them, and she's probably right. She's probably right. A lot of it's different ways of teaching our children. We have to understand that our children don't learn like their children, and their children aren't as smart as our children. I'm telling you, if our children was in the right setting with the right teacher, and I saw where a teacher that had a student that had a teacher that looked like them tended to develop better, tended to come out better, tended to relate better to that teacher. Okay. I seen a letter where one teacher, a black teacher, wrote to her black students, and she was trying to build them up, and she was really telling them how great of a job they're going to do. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, I love you. I mean, she was so her expression to her students was so genuine, you could feel it reading the letter. And then they showed a white letter, a white person's letter, teacher, or a letter to the black students, and how vague and cold her letter was. You could really tell the difference. You know what? Both, I don't know. um Due to this interest in yeah, you know what? I seen a couple of videos also. I heard about the Uber man, okay, that was in he was a passenger in an Uber. They stopped the Uber guy for a tail light, and they ended up asking the passenger, who was a black man, for his license. I'm like, why the hell do you need his license? He's not even the driver. So he refused to give it, and I mean, they Ooh, it's just see, this is why I'm saying we have to separate. This is why I'm doing this show. I'm doing these shows because it's time for us to do something different. It's time. Okay. And I know about NFAC, it's just, everybody is going against this brother because it's something new, and it's too new to be true. It's too good to be true. So they're like, oh my God, it can't be. He's got to be an agent. He's got to be this. He's got to be that. And I'm like, you guys just sit back and enjoy the ride. Just leave it go. Let it go. Leave it alone. And just enjoy what you're looking at. Just enjoy seeing this brother trying to get his people free. And if it worked, good. If it don't, if it's for y'all, if it's from y'all, he'll be fine. If it's not from y'all, then it won't be fine. So we have to step back, keep our mouth shut, stop speaking against each other, and let the brother from NFAC do his thing. Okay, let Jay do his thing. I'm telling you, y'all get up off the brother. That's our brother, and we are tearing him down like he's a stranger. And strangers we accept, and our own we don't. We are jacked up. But let me finish this. I'm gonna try to stay on focus, because it don't take much for me to get off focus. Okay, I'm gonna keep it on focus. Now, she continues in high school. She's telling us about what the white students were not taught in college, as far as how to deal with black students, how to deal. And some of them want to come and they want to go to Africa, they want to save the world, they want to go and teach in the ghetto, they want to save the little niggas in the projects. But my thing is, go to the po white trash, go to the trailer parks and teach your children. Go to the trailer park and teach them white students how to treat black students. Go to your people and talk to your people about how to treat black folk if you want to help black folk. You can't come around us and try to educate us. We don't need you around us. We need you to go to your people and tell your people about the racism. Talk to your folk. We good over here. Let us handle this over here, and you handle that over there. How about that? That's what I think we should do. But oh yes, brother Jay. Who's on? Jay is brother Maurice. I know brother Maurice. Him and I are close friends, and him and I have talked. But I think sometimes we so woke. Um, you know, um, I've seen more men downing him, and I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know. I'm not saying Brother Maurice. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I've seen more men come against Jay, and I don't know why. He was trying to explain it the other day. I don't know if they're coming against him because they're feeling less than because he's doing it, or are they feeling less than because he's got a lot of women watching him and they're jealous, or I don't know, but I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying seeing my brother try. I'm just enjoying seeing him do his part and doing his job, because I think everybody has a job to do. And instead of us talking about him, we should be on our father's business, doing what we were put on this earth to do, and doing the work. Okay, Jay is doing the work. Half them brothers running their mouth. They ain't doing the work. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I digress. But I'm gonna keep on reading my letter. In the high school, college, and your teacher prep program, you no doubt were taught something about race in America, but it's highly unlikely that you learned the truth about Black experiences. I just said that. It's likely, for instance, that you've been taught little to nothing about the pre-enslavement contributions of Black people to the world and horrors and impacts of centuries of enslavement, post emancipation, Jim Crow laws and practices, and the many ongoing racially based systematic injustices such as mass incarceration, housing discrimination, wealth disparities, and lack of equal access to quality education, healthcare, and more. I didn't learn about these things in school either, but thankfully, my parents made sure I learned about these important aspects of American life and history that are absent from the textbooks and teachers' guides. Okay, so in other words, they're not even being trained right in order to teach our children. So again, why are we allowing people that don't look like us to educate our children? Because only we are the only ones that know the Black experience, right? So when a child asks about what's going on today as far as rioting, and we could give them the Black experience and tell them this is why we're doing it. This is the real reason. But what would a white teacher tell them? Oh, they shouldn't be out there rioting. Everything is okay. They're doing it. It's their answer is going to be white based, racism based, hate based. But if a Black student asks us, we're going to say it's the foundation of racism in America. It's a foundation of inequality. It's the foundation. We're not going to tell them about the rioting. We're going to tell them why is all of this going to hell? Why? What's the problem? Where did it start? We're not going to say, oh, they're rioting because of something that's so, you know, surface. Okay, we're going to go. This is how it started. This is why we're rioting, and this is the results of what we want from rioting. Okay, so my thing is it's totally different when a white teacher is going to educate our children. They're going to give them their aspect, their thinking as far as why we're rioting, not the Black real true reason why we're rioting. They're going to try to make it seem like we were the troublemakers. Oh, but they're not going to tell you that in Black Wall Street how they were the rioters, how every Black city in the 1919s and 1920s and 1930s, all of those riots started by white folk either coming up with a lie talking about a man was trying to look at they or rape their little nasty flat booty women, or how they were trying to rape them Neanderthals, or how it was just some dumb excuse of why they wanted to come in and tear up a city. Okay, so they would come up with a plan, or usually it was about one of their Neanderthal women, right? That either he was trying to rape him, or he was looking at him, or he winked at him, or he touched him, or something false, of course. But they would use that as an excuse to come in and tear up our cities. So when they talk about us rioting now, which is not mostly Black people, it's mostly Antifa and the Black Lives Matter, who has nothing to do with Black folk, who is the LGBT elemental P, and add the bestiality and the pedophilia onto it. Those are the ones, and they're white, who are rioting, who are protesting, who the rioters are white and the protesters are the Black people out there, because black folk not trying to tear up anything, that. Okay, Antifa and the Black Lives, transgender, and all these other people are the rioters. Okay, let's not get it twisted. We have to understand what's really going on, and they're trying to portray something that's not true. Okay, so that when they talk about rioting, I look at them and I say, okay, well, let's talk about Black Wall Street, how you rioted and you bombed, your government bombed cities in America against Black folk. Your government, who we fight in the U.S. Army and the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, we send our children to fight for other countries' freedom when you're not free in your own country. Stop sending your children to fight for these wars when you're still coming home fighting for your life, getting killed by racist police officers, and still not free, but you're going to fight for another country's freedom. Make that make sense to me, please. Make that make sense. I did not come on here to be on here all day, but I'm going to get my points out and then I'm going to be done. But let me finish this letter before I get off focus again. Okay, because it's unlikely that you learned about all of these things in school or in your home, which is true. You know they're not teaching black issues in these white homes. You know they got a whole lot of racism uh, thinking. So they're passing a lot of this racism down to their children who grew up to be teachers to teach your child about how what they were taught in their white homes about our children. Okay, it's even more unlikely that you teach about these matters now. I know that those of you who taught my children when they were younger didn't necessarily teach them about those issues. But here's the thing, they truly wanted to hear it from you too. We have talked extensively about these matters at home, but my children's school experience would have been far more valuable if you would have introduced them to the lives and works of Ellen and William Craft, Katherine Johnson, Louis Heyman, Ida B. Wells, and DeMark Vesey, Vesey, Vesey. Okay. They wanted to hear you tell them the truth about the Black Panthers instead of saying that they were, what they say, the Black Panthers were, oh, they called them terrorists. Are you serious? They still don't have the KKK on the terrorist list. So miss me with all that crazy stuff. Anyway, the reason behind, okay, they said they wanted to hear you tell them the truth about the Black Panthers Party, the reason behind the FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King Jr., the painful fact about Columbus' experience in the Americas, and the meaning of Juneteenth. And they didn't want to just hear a few tidbits about these essentials and complex aspects of America life in February just because it was Black History Month. Which is true. That's the only time they talk about Black history, and the only ones they talked about was Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King, and who else? Harriet Tubman. But there was other black heroes that they didn't talk about. But let's continue. Okay. What my children needed from you in school, what all students of color need from you in school, is a much deeper understanding of racial history and outgoing racial matters. If you are to teach them well, teach them as I know you want to teach them. You need deeper cultural knowledge and skills. If, for instance, you teach a social studies unit on immigrations and you have your students present about the present about the countries of their ancestors, Black children need you to think more deeply about how this assignment feels for them. One of the many things Black America lost as a result of the nation's involvement in enslavement is the knowledge of which African countries our ancestors came from. Although we now have some helpful information from Ancestry DNA, I, for instance, can't say for sure whether my African ancestors were Nigerian, Senegalese, Guyaninians, Congolese, and Togolese, and Cameroonians. I mean, she goes down to Maladians or from the Ivory Coast. And because we didn't have access to this information when my children were in elementary school, they ended up focusing only on their European heritage because our white ancestors are a lot easier to trace. Isn't that something? This can also be tough and painful assignments for other students of color as well, especially for First Nation people whose ancestral stories are overlooked by misrepresentation in the textbook versus of American history versions of U.S. history. My guess is that you didn't think about all this in planning the unit going forward. I hope you will, because you were entrusted to partner with me in the education of my children. I wanted you to be curious about them with the same intensity with which you'd have them stand to pledge allegiance to a flag. I wanted you to wonder how they felt when they saw Mount Rushmore or the face of Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill they handed you with their field trip permission slip. I wanted you to wonder how they felt in your class after hearing about yet another unarmed Black life erased from this world by police brutality. All because the melanin we see as so beautiful looks like danger to others. Do you know how it feels for my children when you don't say anything about racial injustice at the time of their occurrences? Do you know how it feels for your Black students today? If your school is anything like the schools where I taught, you'll be expected to interact with your students' families at the open houses, conferences, and literacy or math nights. One On these nights, families are expected to come to school and are often judged harshly if they don't. I want you to think about this. Think about why you are judging them harshly and what assumptions you are making. During parent teacher conferences, you will most likely not have a lot of time. So you'll probably default to talking at families about their children instead of engaging in dialogues with families as partners. I know it's hard. I've been there too. But I'm asking you now, when it's time for conferences, when families show up, to engage in conversation with you about the most precious people in their lives. Please don't see your contracts as a limitation. Okay. Use these moments as opportunity to connect, learn, and share. And it's something this Black teacher who's a mom has to tell white folk how to interact with their children. This is how we know that we should not be allowing them to educate our children. So, my question to you, family, is why do we continue seeing the harsh from them on our jobs, everyday life, going to the store, in restaurants? Just having interactions with them every day? Why is it that we think that their children, who they have planted these racial seeds in, are treating our children any better? Why do we think, and why do we continue to allowing them to continue teaching our children? Why is it that we've never gotten to the point where we said, okay, enough is enough. I'm not doing this, and I'm taking my children out, and we are going to create our own homeschooling groups. We're going to create our own online teaching for now, and we're going to teach them ourselves, and we're going to teach our children about Blackness, their culture, their heritage. Why is it that we're not doing that? Why is it that we're not doing that? Let's continue. It's not that much more, you guys. As we well know, the dominant culture in the United States tries to suppress conversations of race. There are numerous reasons for this, most of them related to the maintenance of the status quo. I'm asking you to help break this damaging practice, especially among adults in your schools. There are certain conversations that take place in teachers' lounges about students and their families that I find both infuriating and heartbreaking. Too often, teachers are silent in the face of racial prejudices, biases, or stereotype comments. I know it's uncomfortable to confront colleagues. I want you to consider, however, how uncomfortable it makes my family and all other families of color to know that there are people who are entrusted with the care and teaching of our children who think of them as less than, less important, less worthy of our love and attention. When that moment arises next time, and it will arise, I want you to think of how uncomfortable the students are in that teacher's classroom, and I want you to speak up on their behalf. If a colleague says something derogatory about a child and about the child and or that child's family, you must speak up. As Desmond Tutu said, if you are neutral in a situation of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Is that not correct, family? Well, they're neutral right now. Silence is golden. When they see us dying and they see that like for instance, Jacob Blake got shot 7 times, how many people came on here and said, oh, he deserved it? Why is it that when our children are hurt, but that 17-year-old boy, they're defending him? The 17, the thug terrorist that shot the two rioters, and I do call them rioters, and the one third rioter that he shot lived, but the other two died. Why is it that everybody is defending him? But if he was black, they would have had everything negative to say about this 17-year-old and they wouldn't be supporting him. You have a Christian facility that is backing this boy, that has backed him with money for his defense. They're paying for part of his defense team. So you tell me, why is it that we continue to allow these devils to teach our children when you know how they feel about them? Everything negative they say about our children, everything negative that happens to us, they always have something to say. But then when this 17-year-old boy shooting up schools, remember when those boys were shooting up schools? What they say? Dylan Roof killed 9 people. What they do? They treated him to lunch. Okay. But never do they say anything negative about their own, unlike us. Because sometimes something happen and then we find out they black, we go in on our own with them. But do they ever do that with you? Have they said anything negative? You look up the Facebook page of that 17-year-old boy and you'll see, even on Twitter, look it up. That 17-year-old thug that shot up those two protesters and killed them. You have white folk defending him, and I keep telling them, if you guys let this white thug off, you're gonna have more like him rising up in black family. If you don't have a weapon, I'm gonna tell you what, you are a fool. If you have not gotten your weapons, if you have not got bullets, you are fools. You see the culture. If Trump loses, you see the culture, you're in trouble. You see the culture. Don't sit up there and say you didn't know. Y'all walk around here without a weapon if you want to. I'm gonna tell you what, you are an idiot. If you don't have a weapon now, you are a freaking idiot. And I'm just saying, it is time for you to start thinking about what's going on. The culture has changed. Don't you see it? When the culture changed, you change with it. Yes, they love when we're hurt and killed. Yes, they love it. Hmm. I'm sick of this stuff. I'm almost done, family. I just want to continue. I want you to understand and hear. I want you to play this video over because what I'm reading, this is a black teacher, and she's writing it to a white teacher because we know they aren't adequate to teach our children. We know they aren't ready. We know they're not supposed to be teaching our children, but we got them teaching our children. Why? Come on, you guys. We gotta do better. Come here. Let me finish. My children are in high school now and have had the privilege of participating in advanced placement and honor courses in school. They have scored a proficiency in advanced level of standardized testings. They are amazing young people and they have worked hard, but none of these accomplishments make them exceptional or in any way better than their schoolmates who have not had these same opportunities. It also doesn't make my husband and me exceptional or any better than the families of their schoolmates. Please consider please consider the assets and opportunities that are available to all students in your schools. Our job, if we are doing it right, is to celebrate every child where they are and move them forward with skill, love, courage, and grace. In a nation that claims to believe in educating our children to become engaged citizens, this practice of failing so many students of color or tracking them back to implicit biases or pushing them out of school or driving them into criminal justice systems or ignoring them in the hopes they'll simply drop out. This adult behavior in schools perpetuates inequality system. Finally, I know it's tempting to think that because you teach in a school with a high percentage of Black students, racism isn't an issue for you. Please know that proximity doesn't equal awareness. That would be a male teacher saying, I can't be sexist because I have female students. Know too that racial colorblindness isn't really a thing. While it's right to treat children equally, it's also important to understand how race shapes lives in a racist system. We all breathe in the smog of oppression, and the only way to expel it is to read, listen, reflect, ask questions, and become better as a result of what we learn. I'm here asking you to educate as an educator to help lead the way by improving equality in schools, by becoming truly exclusive learning communities with an effective anti racism curriculum, We improve both individual lives and equality and justice in society. I'm here for you and I'm rooting for you. As as Lila Watson said, your liberation is bound up with mine. Okay. But my thing is this was an amazing letter. And it was all about a parent that saw what was going on because she was an educator and she wanted to help inform the white students. How many do you know that these teachers probably read this letter and threw it out because it didn't matter. It didn't mean anything because they think they got it. They think I went to school, but they don't even understand. I don't think they even know what they didn't get. But I think her letter was showing them what part was missing. So hopefully they'll take it to another level and they'll research and they'll become better teachers for our children. But if they don't, it's up to us to make a difference. It's up to us to stop. It's up to us to take our children away from them. And it is up to us to make a difference and to do something different. Let me read some of the comments. Okay. My thing is, I'm reading, and it says that's correct. I didn't care for school. And you know what? I find out a lot of boys, males, hate black males, hate school. You know why? Because they was treated different. I remember my daughters went to a daycare and we were in Arizona at the time. And this little black boy, all of these little white students would pick on him, right? And they, you know, he was good, at first about it, but then they said he started fighting back, right? But who would get in trouble? This little black student. When I would come from work and his mom wasn't there yet, I was picking up my kids and he was, of course, in the corner. And I was like, why every day he's in the corner? And my daughter said, because mommy, they pick on him. They don't do nothing. He tried to tell, they don't do nothing. I do apologize, you guys. They said that my daughter said that the students will pick on him. He would tell, but the white teachers wouldn't do anything. And we're in daycare. Okay. So this child probably had a horrible start with school, probably hated white folk, hated white adults, probably hated white folk, period, because they would all pick on him. And can you imagine what was being done to him mentally? Okay. The trauma, the PTSD, everything that he was experiencing. And he was like 4 or 5 at a young age, he was rejected. At a young age, he was picked on. At a young age, he didn't have the support that he needed. And I could never catch his mom when she was coming because I was going to talk to her about it, but I could never catch his mom. So he was obviously there a long time. So he was there from the time I got there, and he probably was there from like 6 in the morning to 6 at night, probably because I would drop mine off about 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock for breakfast, and then I would pick them up maybe about after I got off work about about 4:30, something like that. But this child was in the corner. Some mornings he would be in the corner when I got there, which was 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that means he was probably in the corner at what, 6 o'clock. And then when I would come there again, he was still in the corner. So who knows how much time he spent in that corner. But I began to understand, and I had a one guy, and my daughters would say that those teachers wouldn't protect this little boy. The other kids, the white kids, was doing stuff to him. And then when he would fight back and get mad, then they would put him in the corner, but they wouldn't put the white students in the corner. So here we go again. Look at what our children are coming up against. Okay. I remember talking to a grown man, he was like 50 years old. He told me, he said, Cassie, and we were just talking about education. He said, I remember back when he was in like fourth or fifth grade, his teacher told him that he told him he wanted to be something. And the teacher told him no, he couldn't be that. He needed to be that, whatever, whatever. And he said that impacted me it impacted him so hard that he thought about that, and it took 50 till he was age 50 to get through and to get over what that teacher had said to him. And he felt that the teacher was saying he would never amount to anything. So the damage that was done to him when he was in fourth or fifth grade lasted up until a lifetime. So a lot of what our children are doing today is from them being told that they can't do something, of them feeling like they don't measure up, or them feeling that they're not smart enough. My daughter was an honor roll AB student and A student really. She went to governor school, went to college, went in as a second year sophomore. Did had her bachelor in 2 years, had her master's in another 2 years. So 4 years she had a master's degree in 4 4 year span. So she was, I'm like, what, 18, like 21 with her master's. Okay. But I'm going to tell you who gave my daughter the most problems was an African guy. And that was so funny because her senior year of this governor school, no, let me say junior year, she had this man twice, 2 years. And I'm telling you, I didn't take her out of his class because I knew he was training her, he was teaching her how to deal with hard people in the world, black or white, that was going to try to shape her, okay, to stop her, to hold her. And he was teaching her how to be strong. He was teaching her how to fight white supremacy because he was doing the job of the white folk that was coming against her. He was being used to try to stop her. Okay. But I didn't take her out of his class because I knew that he was teaching her. He didn't even know what he was doing, but I knew that he was training her for where she was going. And even now, she's probably she's like 29 now. Yeah. And I tell you, the last 10 years of her life, not even 10 years, maybe 7 years, she's been dealing with white corporate America. And I'm telling you, these people have been giving her a hard time because she's young and she's getting these high positions, and they're looking at her and saying, sometimes she's the only black there. But that African taught my daughter how to handle difficult people, people that was treating her like crazy, like treating her bad. Okay. But she doesn't, even today, she doesn't allow them to treat her. She recognizes what they're doing. She recognizes this, and she goes about it a totally different way, and it ended up backfiring on them. I mean, I don't know how in the world this child does it, but mentally, she is so fit for corporate world that what they do does not even affect her. She knows how to deal with them, and she will jump. I mean, it's just like crazy the way she deals with them because it ended up what they ended up doing always backfires on them, and she'll come out looking like unscathed. It didn't touch her. And I think that African, I would tell him thank you. But I knew that it was hard at the time. I knew it was hard, rough for her, but I knew because of her education and because of the brains that she had, and I knew because of where she was going, that she was going to need to be tough. And she was going to have to know how to deal with people that didn't like her because of her color, because of her smartness, because of her brightness. And one lady even asked her, "How old?" She hired one, and another lady was supposed to be training her, and that lady gave her fits because she was young and she was trying to get this top position. And I'm telling you, that white lady treated my daughter like crap. But in the end, this woman, she went up for a promotion, and they wouldn't promote her because they saw how she was not management material, because she had an opportunity to show them, and they was testing her, how great of a manager she was and how great of a trainer she was, and she failed because she didn't train my daughter. She wasn't a great manager. She didn't, I mean, she was acting racist. It was crazy, but she was proven to them that she was not good management material. So in the process, it ended up backfiring on her. And guess who got that leadership position? I'm just saying. Sometimes we have to step back as parents. And yes, it bothered me. I wanted to go to that school so bad sometimes. But I said, no, this is teaching her how to handle difficult people, black or white. And of course, you meet black folk to try to stop you too. But the question then remains, why are we not educating our own children, knowing the hell that we go through with them every day, and we give them our precious babies every day to torture, to abuse? I'm just saying, this is just a thought provoking live here. Okay, just trying to get us to thinking. Let me read. In kindergarten, my teacher put me under her desk because I wanted. 34, you crazy. He said she put you on her desk. That's crazy. What in the world? That is crazy. Even my granddaughter, when she was in public school, the teacher, and my granddaughter's like her grandma. Okay, I'm just saying, she poor baby. I just have to, but I know that right now we're training her to have her own business, so she won't be, working for any white folk. Plain and simple. You see my hair. My granddaughter did it. She's 11, so she wants to do beauty. She wants to do hair and nails. And I told her we're going to buy her own shop, get her business degree, so she'll know how to run it. But she's going to have her own, not just one, but she's going to have several. So we're already saving for that. We're already doing some things, getting her ready for that, if this world is even here. But if it is, This is what we're training her to do, her own business. So she will not ever have to work under a white person ever. Okay, she don't even have to deal with them because braids. She do, she'll hire people to do manicure, pedicures. She's going to do group economics. She's going to own the building and she's going to rent out the chairs. We've already got it planned. We've already, we we're ready. We're teaching her now how, and she does clients now. And my granddaughter, she's 11. She did two clients and made $90. So we're ready. We're well on the way. So she's excited. So we're investing some, when she does her little business on the side and she does nails, which I've had my nails done, toes done is beautiful. But this, and I let her practice on me. And she's doing amazing. She's doing really well, wonderful. And we're just teaching her to help her to understand that you don't have to work for white folk. You can own, and I hope that everybody on here that sees this broadcast after I'm done, the ones that come back to it, you need to start teaching your children right now how to have their own business, that you don't have to work for anybody. Right now, Black family, this is a time of a reset. And I hope you understand whatever your gift is. You step out, group economics, you get like minded people that think like you, that have some money. You only need maybe 200, 300, 400, $500 at the most. You put your monies together, depending on the amount of people that you get to go in on it, is the amount of money that you'll need. If you get maybe five people, you might need $500. If you get 10 people, you may only need 200. But I'm just saying, group economics, if you have a bakery, or if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're a carpenter, if you are a electrician, a plumber, those type people can come together, group economics, and open up their own business together. You have one person, one secretary, maybe starting a volunteer for you to help you to get on your feet, and you come together and you have your own business. I'm just saying, it's different ways that we can do this. We have so many gifts, family, and we have to start somewhere. If we don't start somewhere, we will never be free. You do what you want to see done, you do it. If you want to get into real estate, even in Africa, you can buy land for $500. You can buy an acre of land and put two houses on it. You can build one house for $10,000. I'm just saying, group economics, group economics. And it's a shame. We might have to do it in Africa. It might be cheaper to do it in Africa. You can come up with a bowling alley, build a bowling alley. I'm just saying, group economics. If 19 families can buy 100 acres of land, 19 family members bought 100 acres of land, how many acres do you think you can buy for $500 in Africa and build your own cities? Group economics. You might not be able to do it here. You go somewhere else where you can do it. I'm just saying, you go somewhere else where you can make things happen for yourself. We have to pull together. We have to build our own. You have to, and even when you get these lands, you get your own defense, you get your own police department, you get your own hospital, you get your own schools. And that's what these 19 families are doing. They are building what they want. We got 19 banks. I'm gonna go over some of these banks that you guys, we have banks. Get you a black account. Take your money out of these white banks. We got over 19 banks. We got a Citizens Trust Bank. We got a Columbia Savings Loan Bank, Commonwealth National Bank, Broadway Federal Bank. We got a Carver State Bank, Carver Federal Savings Bank, Columbia Savings and Loans, GNN Bank in Chicago, First Independent Bank, Harvard Bank of Maryland, Liberty Bank of Trust Bank, Industrial Bank, New York. That is in New York. You have One United Bank. We have OP Optus Bank. We have the Merchants Bank. We have the Tri-State Bank of Memphis, Unity National Bank. We have the United Bank of Philadelphia. If we are ever going to do anything, everybody has their part. Everybody has their gift. And it's up to you to do your part. We stop attacking everybody else for doing their part and you do your part. Let's start building somewhere. What we want to see, we start doing now. We pull, for one, Pull your children. I know I got some teachers that's gonna come on here. Get some students together and start a program. I got a girlfriend. She's building a program now to open up her own schools, her own line. Gonna be online. Getting her program together now. I hate that it wasn't ready in September. I told her either you do it here, you do it in Africa. It's time for us to do something different. It's time for us to flourish. It's time for us to build what we want to see. I'm gonna keep saying it until you get it in your head. Group economics. I need 5 people on here to get 5 different people to invest $200 towards something. What is your gifts? You find other like-minded people that's gonna come together and build with you. And you could, if that 19 families can do it, we can do it, family. Let's start. Let's build what we want to see. We can build banks. We can get the land, build schools. We run for office in these cities. Okay, we have a separate government. The next 3 weeks that I'm gonna do these lives, it's gonna be showing you how to build. It is gonna be showing you how we gonna build this thing, and we have to start somewhere. Stop complaining when you see people doing stuff. Stop complaining about it. Stop it. And get into action. Stop sitting there looking and lusting at the other people, what they doing. They doing the work. And you mad because you not doing nothing and you got something to say. Stop. Yes, Jazz. 34. Yes. We have to take our money out of these banks. The main bank that we have is the what did I say? It's the United Bank. The one United Bank that is local, is nationwide. We can take our money out of these white banks and we can bankrupt them banks. Bankrupt them banks. One United Bank. I'm gonna challenge everybody on here. They have a black bank challenge where everybody open a saving account of $100, and then they generate and just leave it in there and let them generate from that. Everybody open up a bank account in a black bank for $100, and you leave it in there, and you let them use that $100. And if everybody do start opening up $100, just a one bank account, and you leave $100 in there, do you know how much money that would generate for that black bank? And do you not know that if we don't deal with the white banks, we could shut Wells Fargo, racist darn Wells Fargo, Bank of America, we could shut them down. Pull your monies out of these banks. Get yourself into one of these 19 banks, and you can look it up online. 19 banks. That's what I looked up. A black owned bank. Thank you, Jazzy. We have to do something. We have to start somewhere. We get mad. We complain about white folk all the time. What the hell are we doing? Am I buffering? Okay, hold on. Oh, must be saying something they don't want to hear. Ah, am I better? Am I? I'm still here. Am I still buffering? Am I okay? Okay, I'm pulling me up to see. Okay, I'm not gonna be on here much longer. I don't want them to cut me off in that crazy. But I want us to start somewhere. I want you to think about your gifts, family. I want you to think about what can you do? Do I have caterers on here? Do I have bakers on here? Do I have florists? You guys can pull your bunnies together. My bakers, my florists, my caterers, you pull your monies together. I want somebody to come in and open up you could pull your monies to have like a place where we can go to do like venues. You understand what I'm saying? Um, yes. Thank you. Thank you, 34. I want us to get together and I want some people to rent out a building where you can come and do vendors. Like for instance, say for instance, 34, if you're a plumber and you know an electrician and you know, and we all black. We ain't talking, I'm just saying we doing this black folk. Both if you have your gifts, okay, just say for instance you're an electrician, you have a person that works on cars, and you know somebody that's a carpenter, you know a painter. Get together, put on a show in your community, in your state, and you advertise it for 30 days, and you charge them a vendor fee. Okay, listen to me. You charge maybe $50 vendor fee. Okay, and you bring different vendors in, and you do it maybe on every Saturday or every Friday night or every Saturday. It's up to you, every Sunday. And they're paying you that fee. Okay, you're a gardener. Okay. Then you get some people together, and you get people that like to do cut grass, or uh you get people that like to that's gender in that role, that's doing good in that role. But to try to turn your phone on and off and see, am I still buffering? I don't see me buffering on here. Try to turn your phone on and off and see if that's better. Because I'm looking at YouTube now, and it doesn't. It seems to be okay. Okay, but what I'm saying is, I want my black men to come on and do better, because they're not hiring you. If Biden wins, he's going to bring 11 million immigrants in here, and that's going to knock you out the box. Okay, they already not hiring you. I have a friend in Houston, Texas now, that's having a hard time finding a job, and I thought jobs in Houston was prevalent. I'm just saying, but I keep telling him he's a medical transporter, and I said, okay, why don't you rent your car and use that as your own business for now, and you get you some clients. You go to the nursing home, you go to these retirement facilities, and you start passing out flyers. And you get your own transportation, whether you're taking them to the doctor, you're taking them to the store, and you charging them $5 round trip. I'm just saying, for now, this is what he needs to do, because they're not hiring us for jobs. We are going to create our own market. Like I was saying, get you a building, rent you a building. And sometimes these buildings, you can set a contract up, and each thing will cost you like $200. But guess what? If you're charging everybody $50, every vendor, say like you have 8 vendors, how much money is that, Butha? If you have 8 vendors, 35, 34 Jazzy. If you have 8 vendors and you're charging each one of them $50, that's enough to pay for that building, right? Plus you have a little bit left over. If you're doing that every Saturday, and you're advertising, and you bringing in, you have people there that's catering, you have people there that bakery, you have people there that sell purses, that sell women like tasers, you have jewelry, you have all kind of stuff. You have at least 8 to 10 vendors, 12 vendors. Okay, you have at least 8 to 10 vendors, right? And $50 per vendor, that's gonna give you a pretty nice little penny each Saturday. You doing that, you renting that building, and you tell that person that you're gonna rent that building from. Say, hey, give me a good deal. Charge me maybe $150 per Saturday, okay? Because I'm doing it every Saturday, and I'm bringing you money every Saturday, or to pay $200 for that place on Saturdays, okay? Maybe they'll give you a good deal if you book for every Saturday for the next 3 months. I'm just saying. You understand what I'm saying? It is time for us to do different. Okay. Okay. Wow, I like that, Jazzy. You got a lot of stuff going on. That's great. You put that together. I'm just saying, it's time for us to own our own. This is a reset, family. We don't have to depend on them to do for us. This is a reset. I want you to think about all that stuff, Jazzy, that you can do. You got friends. I got friends that do paparazzi. Okay. You got friends doing paparazzi. You have a friend that's selling paints that can come there. He can rent a space to show his paints. You got a paparazzi friend that they can pay $50 to $60. You have a baker friend that pay $50 to $60. You have a caterer that can serve food while she's there, and she pay $50 to $60. And she can also serve little small vegan meals. Okay, try vegan meals and non-vegan meals. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know who keep calling me, but I'm just saying, I want us to think about how we're gonna do this. I'm giving you ideas so that you can get on your feet, because they already don't want to see our men doing nothing. And Butha, you can do that in your area too. Everybody on here can do it in their area. So it's enough black folk to go around for you to, and what it's called, it's an investment for black owned businesses to get clients. Everybody who is renting from you has their own tables, their own chairs. Okay? They can't rent that from you. They have to bring their own stuff, their own setup. They bring their cards. Just say, for instance, you have a massage therapist there, Jazzy 34 Jazzy. Just say you have a massage person there. She'll give massages for maybe 15-minute massages for maybe $12, $10. A 30-minute massage, she can do it for maybe $20. I'm just saying, and not even that much, $10, $15, something like that for a 30-minute massage. Okay. Um, it's time, Jazzy. I'm retiring this year. Keep telling my husband this year I'm done. I am retiring. I have things going on right now that I want to do my own. I've never liked working for people, but where I'm working, I'm making such good money. I just couldn't stop. But I've used it to invest, to use it for investments. So I'm just saying, it's time for us to do for self, black men. And you know these white folks already don't want you to have nothing. You don't have to beg these crackers for nothing, and I mean nothing. Okay? So I want you to think about find you a place. It doesn't have to be a really huge place, Jazzy, 34 Jazzy. Doesn't have to be a huge place, but you get you some cards. And what's your business? What is your we are doing what is our gifts. Okay? Okay. Okay, okay, Jazzy, the 34 Jazzy. You rent your space with him. You come and you tell him to pay you 30, $50 and he can serve vegan food. You may have somebody else that bakes cakes. Charge them $50. You may have another person that does tattoos. You charge them $50. And you may have 12 vendors. And if each vendor has paid you $50, that's a nice piece of money, okay? And you doing this every Saturday. And you get people and you get a name to it. It may be you could even call it 34 Jazzy. Okay. Young entrepreneurship or invested in our youth. You can call it whatever. But what you can do is bring them together, bring our youth together that have their gifts. Like some of them might like drawing. Bring them in. Give them, tell them to paint some paintings. Give them a space for $50. And they can sell their paintings there. I'm just saying. You got a tattoo person, bring him in. Charge him $60, $70 because he gonna make some money on those tattoos, right? You can charge him a little extra. But I'm just saying, yes, okay. Even with the RN, your daughter, okay. You're a CNN, CNA. Okay. What you can do? Why not do it privately? Stop working for these white folk. You can do it privately. You have clients that you know that you can get a group of nurses like your daughter and send them out. It's things we can do. I'm just saying, Jazzy gotta go. Yes, he does. It's time for us to do this. Yes. Decide what your gifts. You can have several gifts, Jazzy. You can have several entities that you're starting that'll bring you. I tell people to have five different businesses. And I don't want to work for I don't want to work. Our dream is to invest in 10 different black businesses. Y'all pay me a small percentage. Here, take $5,000 here, $5,000 here, $5,000 here. That's what I want to do. I don't want to own anything. I just want to invest in it. Y'all give me my little half, and I can keep moving every month. That is my vision. That is my vision. That's my vision. Yes. Okay. I see what Jazz, you got a lot. Ain't no reason you shouldn't have your own business. There, 34. I'm gonna just tell you, you've been wasting time. I'm gonna put this in the chat. 34. How you spell wasting time? I don't want to spell it wrong. 34. I'm telling you. Wasting time. I don't know if I spelled it right or not. I don't care. But 34, you have been wasting time. You have so much stuff that you could be doing. You have been wasting time doing working for other people. Stop it. But you know, you have to understand this is where the mind frame went. Nobody taught you that you can have your own. Nobody taught us that we can have our own business. Nobody taught us that we should be thinking about our own. Nobody taught us this. Everybody has been busy getting us prepared to work for white folk, to come in there and flip their hamburgers, to come in there and turn their hot dogs. You flip your own hamburgers. Let them flip their own hamburgers, and you go and open up your own McDonald's or your own catering. And I have seen more black people with their own business these last few months than I have ever before. This is called a reset, you guys. Yes, you can move mountains, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Yah has given us gifts. He said, your gifts will make room for you. Let's get up and let's do what we're supposed to be doing, family. Let's stop working for these white folk and do. We have gifts in us. Your gifts will make room for you. That is how you're going to make your money. You working for you is making you money. You're making them money. You're taking. When I heard Nick Cannon say that he made who was that Vicron, whoever he worked for, $1 billion, that disgusted me. I looked at him and I said, I'm saying to myself, you made them $1 billion, but you didn't make it for yourself. Are you crazy? You see how talented we are and how white folk be using our talents and using us? Stop it. Stop allowing them to use our talents. We use our own talents. It's time for us to use our own talents. So I want you guys to promise me that the next time we come, I mean, just start working towards your own. Whatever, Luther, whatever you can do, I want you to start doing it. Jazzy 23, 34 Jazzy. Start now. Making your business plan. Start now. You have gifts in you. You have gifts in you. Start doing it. Start doing it. I want you guys to start doing something different. It's time for us to have our own. I am so appreciative of everybody that tunes in. I know I don't have a huge audience, but after I get off, everybody come. Maybe I'm coming on the wrong time, but it doesn't even matter. The ones that need to be here are here. But my thing is stuff like and share the video, you guys. Like and share, like and share, like and share. And I want you guys to keep coming back because I'm coming on Thursdays and I'm trying to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is usually going to be at 12 o'clock because I'm off. And Thursdays it's going to be 7 p.m. So I will be back Thursday night at 7 p.m. But I want you guys to think about what I've talked about. I want you guys to think about how can you create what you want to see. If you want to see little cities, you start planning it, you start creating it. Um, the conclusion of all of this, you guys, is that we totally separate from them. We build. You buy your own land. We have to get healed up, become what we want to see. We have a lot of horrible experiences, and we dealing with traumas. But we're gonna have to deal with those traumas and we're gonna move forward and we're gonna have to stop allowing them to lead and guide us. We have to come together and build our own. We need our own defense. We need our own banks. We need our own everything, just like we had before that we gave up to come up under our enemy. Why? That made no sense to me. I don't know why we did it, but we did. But we're gonna do better. From this day forth, we are going to do better. We're going to do better. Okay. With that said, family, I am going to let you guys have the rest of your day and go and think about what it is you need to be doing and think. And I know I have some teachers that's going to be on here. Let's think about how we can educate our own children. Let's think about homeschooling. Let's think about how we can do it online. Let's think about the curriculums, Black curriculums. Don't bring your children out of a white school and start teaching them a white curriculum. That's not, you could have left them in a white school. That's not what we're doing. We are bringing our children out of from up under the colonizers, and we are going to free our babies. Okay. But that's it. Peace. Love you, and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace, family.